Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. As always, guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good this Friday morning. Already at the end of the week, believe it or not. As always, if you're enjoying the content, guys, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, because of course you will be notified. Make sure you go check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Discount opportunities will be available there upon launch, so make sure you do check that out if you haven't done so already. But guys, welcome back. Hope everyone is doing good. Tony Gold, as always, hope you're doing well. Tom, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Hope Friday is kicking in nice. Yeah, hopefully it is kicking in nice. I've got a euro long position, which I entered yesterday, which is going okay so far. So hopefully Friday doesn't take a drastic turn of events and we keep seeing some dollar weakness. Ben, good morning. Hope you're well. Dollar rug pull. That's going to be an insane rug pull. Yes, I did get into some Euro USD longs. I was eyeing up both. They both kind of gave me the signal at the same time, but I preferred Euro. Risk to reward was a little bit bigger. Pullback was a little bit bigger as well. So yeah, I went with Euro USD. What's up, FX Wolf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, at the end of the week, I know it's been going by pretty quick. Still short CAD yen, almost take profit. Yeah, the yen pair is slowly grinding lower. I've been keeping my eye on them, slowly grinding lower. And yeah, you had some CAD yen shorts from last week, was it? I think. Good morning, Will. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. So yeah, plenty of things to report on. Like I said, at the moment, I'm currently long on Euro USD, which I entered on this 4-hour candle here yesterday at 6 p.m. UK time. It's had a nice rally in my favor, but still a long way to go. Haven't trailed stops yet. The risk is still on the table. I'm looking for a lot more upside before I do that. Price to come at least back to these areas before I start thinking about removing risk, or at least reducing risk at some point. And then the plan is to try and trail stops back to the high up here and just seeing where we can take it. Once we get to this area, I'll be a bit more aggressive because I realize the price can definitely come back against me. So I'll be a bit more aggressive with the trading of the stop loss. But yeah, that's the plan, to see if we can get the trade back to 1.125. So yeah, I've had my eye on this area for quite a while, since the past couple of weeks probably. We've taken our time to get there, but we had a nice reaction yesterday. I could have entered a little bit early on this candle here, but the candle wasn't meaningful enough to me. The rejection wasn't what I was wanting. And then after this candle, momentum really just picked up. So I entered there. And hey presto, here we are. Pound USD also looked really good as well. A really strong close there on the 6 p.m. candle there too. So I was debating between both of them, which one to take the entry on. I really like the wick there as well for pound. But the reason why I went with euro, because risk reward was a little bit better back to the high. And we've had a bigger retracement for euro. So there's a bigger reason why we could continue higher. But then again, euro USD longs, pound USD longs, yeah, it's the same kettle of fish. Really, they both play out or they both fail. So just pick the better one and go with that one. And for me, that was euro USD. But we'll see how things gets on. They both look pretty good now. Decent momentum there. Again, the big driving force here really is USD weakness, which we saw quite a lot from yesterday, coming back into that high. So I personally, at the beginning of the week, was looking for a bigger pullback than this for the dollar. I was expecting us to end up around 102.400, 102.200, 400, around that area, before we do see some dollar weakness. But it looks like price just came back into the high, didn't have enough to break through, and is now selling back off again. So looks like dollar is coming back to the low here. And then we can make another judgment call of what dollar is going to do next. Do we rebound at that same low, or do we finally break through? And if we do, hopefully we can swing back to this low. And that's when the Euro USD, Pound USD trade should really get going. If we can break through all of this noise here on the left. There we go. All of this noise here on the left. And then that will be the next expected level we expect price to reach. So that will mean a lot more weakness in the USD. But yeah, for now, looking pretty bearish. Nice reaction there yesterday. Expecting a push back into the low at least. Probably not by the end of the day, but at some point next week, we'll probably be trading at those lows. And then we go again. Do we break through or do we hold? We'll find out. But USD is looking pretty weak right now. We'll take a look at some of the yen pairs because they've been pretty interesting. Ben, been waiting to buy that for a pullback now. Patience pays. Yeah, it does. Patience does pay. Patience does pay. I've been waiting quite a long time, to be fair. I know Will's been waiting a long time for his pound USD long as well. I remember last week you mentioning, but that's a swing about swing. You know, it takes a while to get going. It takes a while to set up. Yeah, and that does require a lot of patience. Which is, you know, someone asked me at some point this week, what's the best advice you have for someone learning to swing trade? I would say patience, because it's a slow game. Really, it's a slow game. Day trading, it's not necessarily a fast game, but you win quickly, you lose quickly, your setups come quickly, so it's a faster pace. You can scratch the itch a lot quicker. Whereas with swing trading, it does take its time. But then again, the benefits are is that, you know, you can really, you know, do other things as well, because, you know, this trade here is going to take, if it's going to get to my take profit, it's going to take its time to get going. I don't need to be at the screen glued to that, watching that like a hawk. I can let it do its thing whilst I can get on with other things as well. So that's one of the real benefits of swing, but it does take a lot of patience. It does do that. But yeah, with the yen pairs, we have been slowly grinding lower. CAD yen breaking 105 again. It looks to me like CAD yen wants to push back down to 100.8. Where do you say your target was again, FX Wolf? How far are you looking to take it? Because yeah, now that we're snapping through that, again, I'll still wait for daily candle closure to confirm that. But if we do, I would expect to see a push back to 101, which is roughly this zone here. So I would expect a lot more downside for CAD yen at that point. And from current price, we're looking another 250, 300 pips roughly there. So yeah, it looks like the yen pairs are slowly grinding out. I think Swiss yen looks pretty insane. Strong break of that low there on the daily chart. You know, this would be the next major significant low for Swiss yen. Are we coming there potentially? This to me looks like a big head and shoulder pattern. And the funny thing about Swiss yen as well is that, you know, we're trading at some really big heights right now, because if I zoom out to the monthly time frame, you know, this is our all-time high. Our previous all-time high was back over here on the left. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is where Swiss yen is coming to, back to, you know, come back inside that previous major high, which was around 163,300, which could take us, you know, a while to get to. We've got probably, yeah, about 600-700 pips between current price and that level there. So we could be seeing a lot more downside now of Swiss yen. And to me, it looks like price is about to go for a reversal. Yeah, a strong weekly close as well kind of cements that too. So yeah, maybe the yen pairs are really looking to turn now. Some maybe a bit more than others. Anywho, where were we? Morning, Nkeba. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Morning, Darker Sean. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Euro taking liquidity zone on the top side till 1.11107. Okay, we'll take a look. Question is if it will continue higher. That is always the question. Again, as traders, we can't really know if it's going to go higher, go lower. All we have to do is just speculate on a bias, find an entry, find an area where you can put your stop loss, you know, where the trade idea is incorrect, and maybe where you want to take some partials or a target, or how you want to manage the trade, and let the market do the rest. You know, you don't want to be too analytical. You want to have good analysis, of course, but you don't want to be too analytical, because it will drive yourself crazy. I know, because I've been there. Appreciate it, Addy. Currently long Euro USD as well. Nice. Ramirez, looking good. Yeah, gold, insane. Really big breakout. We'll touch on gold definitely. Tom, Uh, 2 hour back testing in the morning, only waking up to find my PC hard drive. Oh no, no, all my data is lost. So Friday kicked. Oh, that is bad. Um, yeah, that's not great. That's not. I was going to try and create a positive spin on that, but it's difficult to do that. I would say though, the most important thing in back testing isn't necessarily the data. Of course, you back test to find the data, but you don't need to know the exact unless you have a mechanical system in terms of, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, and then you're taking the trade here, stop loss here, everything is preset, stop loss size, take profit. Unless it's a mechanical system with hard rules, with no discretion, then that will be a very, very problematic situation because that's the backbone of the strategy. But if your strategy has a strong element of discretion, like mine, for example, I'm using very simple technical tools like support resistance, trend lines, market structure, candlestick formations. All of these are very open interpretation. What makes me have an edge is my interpretation of it. So when you're back testing and you can see that, okay, over the long run, I'm seeing positive results. That's the biggest takeaway to see from back testing, because you could have a 60% win rate in back testing, and then it comes to the live markets, your win rate is 40. So it's not necessarily that your back test, your live results has to be equivalent to your back testing, because a lot of things go in, as we all know, into live trading that doesn't appear in back testing. So it's not the be all or end all if you don't have the exact data. All you need to know is was that approach that you had during back testing, was that profitable? Were you seeing success in that? Do you understand it fully? That's the biggest takeaway. Of course, you're going to have to kind of re-go through things, but as long as you know that, that's the biggest takeaway, I would say. And that's me trying to put a positive spin on it, because of course you would like to have the data as well. But it's not the end of the world if you've lost it. Patience is everything in this game, 100%, Ben. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not just a swing trade, of course. It's every trade. Every trade needs patience. Because if you're just jumping into the market willy-nilly, then of course you're going to get willy-nilly results. Patience is massive. So yeah, with gold, really insane price action, huge breakout to the upside, almost too big. I'm not gonna lie, almost too big, and it makes sense because I'm pretty sure we mentioned this earlier this week, if not last week, that the more gold consolidates, the bigger the breakout will be, and that's kind of essentially what's happened now. Gold was consolidating for a couple of weeks here, many tests at the high, many tests at the low, and as we prolong that breakout, it just means that we're building up, and now price has kind of exploded and released all that built up kind of stress, and now price is looking really bullish here. So the setup is still very much the break and retest. In fact, if you were to come back for the retest, that would be a very nice setup, because the breakout is very impulsive, it's commanding. Therefore, if it's come back, there's a good chance we're going to hold this area to continue, especially because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tests of this area here as well. So it's definitely a significant price for gold, this 25-30 area here. So if I can get the retest, great. The thing about gold is sometimes it just gets going. And this might be that time where it just kind of flies without anyone's, without waiting for anyone to get involved. Unless you're already here through the breakout, then congrats. But if you're looking for the retest, we have to be patient here as well. The boat might have sailed. It may come back to pick us up. It just depends on gold here at this point. But again, because we're at all-time highs, there's nothing here. We can't look to the left. There's no structure here to work with apart from this here, and maybe, of course, some lower time frame levels that the market is creating now. So apart from that, there's nothing here to work with for me. So I need price to at least come back there if I'm going to find an entry. But then if I do, the sky's the limit. I'll be trading stops, seeing how far I can take it. And if gold wants to be gold, we could explode really. But yeah, still very bullish price action on gold, I must say. Only looking for buys. Only looking for buys. Okay. Okay, a bunch of pairs to go through. Where was I? Okay, Pavinator, what's up? Happy Friday, right back at you. They're going short on the Aussie dollar. That should be a fun ride, as it always is. I'm pretty bullish on Aussie dollar, I must say. I'm pretty bearish on USD as a whole, so I'm only kind of looking for longs in Aussie dollar. But I will go take a look at that because I do think we've hit a level where we could see some downside. Where's your targets on that Aussie dollar position? How far are you looking to take it? Because that's always what makes the most sense. Are you looking for a huge swing? You're looking for a trade for the day. That'll be a bit more use. Okay, you have given me the stop loss and the entry and the target. Nice. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Okay, used to the sculpt, then you switch to swing, and I improved more. Again, it's whatever suits you best. Some people thrive sculpting in that environment. Some people not so much. Yeah, for me, swing is a much more reasonable strategy in terms of my personality and how I operate, especially with my life as well. So, sculpting is definitely not for me. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not for me. I was going to try and justify it, but yeah, sculpting is definitely not for me. But other people, they like sculpting. Yeah, it works well for them, and they can do it well under pressure. It just really depends on the trader. Okay, yeah, yeah. UJ did melt off, didn't it, Ben? Yeah, I think that's maybe a sign that the buyers are kind of backing off from the yen pairs, and maybe the sellers are taking control. I would say if we can break through this low here at 140, I'll take a look at Aussie dollar in a moment. But if we can break through this level here at 140, 141, that for me is a big indication that okay, maybe we're going to see a lot more downside because this was our past swing low, our previous swing low, which gave us the swing high up there. So for me, this is a very important low in the market from a structural point of view, as in high, higher low, higher high. So if we're to break through that, that's an indication of a break of structure to me. And I'll be expecting these type of swings here on the daily now, going forward. So yeah, my bias will completely change longer term as well. I mean, still hasn't broken it yet, so there is still a chance for a bounce here at this low. I would say until we get a strong daily candle closure, that bounce is still a possibility. But yeah, if it does break through this week or at some point next week, then yeah, I think the next big swing, of course, be a retracement at some point, but we probably will have some more juice to the downside to go through as well. So I'm definitely keeping an eye. I'll go through some of the M pairs because they're kind of bleeding at the moment. In terms of Aussie dollar, so yeah, we had a nice reaction at that low. Again, Aussie dollar, I was speaking a lot about this one last week. In fact, I was long this one last week before NFP, and NFP stopped me out. I did say this was my second area of interest. Instead of trading Aussie dollar, I did jump into euro. I preferred it a little bit more. But essentially, I'm taking advantage of the same trade. I'm looking for USD weakness, really. So if I'm buying Aussie, I'm buying euro, I'm buying pound. They're very much the same trade. Maybe Aussie and euro and pound will have their individual weakness, which will mean one trade plays out better than the other. But I've gone for an entry on euro instead of Aussie. It was a nice rejection here, actually, on the 4 hour. Really nice wicks there to the downside. I think this is from CPI and then a strong close. I decided to wait for euro, and now I'm in that one. But yeah, we have come back into an area where price will start to struggle here for Aussie dollar. As you can see, this is where we did consolidate. And of course, this is NFP, huge candle to the downside. Us coming back into this area could then give us another move to the downside there as well. So in terms of the location, I think it makes perfect sense to short. My longer term bias or my swing bias is that I expect Aussie to push to the upside back to these highs, into these highs longer term. But in terms of how that happens, I don't know. We might come back for a retest and then push, and that might be the swing you're after. We might come deeper and then push. Something like that could happen. We don't necessarily have to go to my target right now. So there is room to the downside, but I'm only going to be looking for buys until something changes really with Aussie dollar on the higher time frames. You put your targets TP at 66870. 66870. Okay, so you're looking for a move back to this area. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. You're not looking for anything too crazy. And given the fact that that's a strong area of support resistance, price could be drawn to that area anyway. Because we've had a bit of a move there yesterday. We might just see some healthy retracement for price to continue higher. So, yeah, you're not looking for anything crazy. I think in terms of the location, makes perfect sense as well. Coming back into that area of supply, there's a good chance we could react there. It just depends on Aussie dollar, depends on USD, if we'll see that move. But in terms of the logic of the trade, I think it adds up pretty well. Yeah, so I'd just say see out that trade makes sense as long as you fits the plan well. You're operating within your plan. I don't see anything wrong with that trade there. I like it. Longer term, I'm bullish, but if we're going to retrace, this is from the area I would expect us to do that. So yeah, nice position there on Aussie. Good morning, Karis. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. And Keba, we'll take a look at New Zealand CHF for you. Demand zone on the 4 hour. We'll take a look. Will I buy? Will I buy something? I'm buying euro. If that's what you're asking. Problem is that the indicator I'm using and the analytic part as well, and 90% of the time is correct. Okay. Yeah, but how big's the sample size? Because it's very rare to see an indicator be 90% correct. Because if that's the case, you've got a hidden gem there, which yeah, you don't want. You want to keep that to yourself, or if you're going to sell it for a lot of money. Yes, I'll take a look at pound Aussie for you, no problem. Ben, huge cup and handle on gold monthly chart. Started back in 2011. Damn. Okay, I'll go take a look at that. People make fun of meme patterns, but it's actually clean and gold. Yeah, the thing is, people make fun of meme patterns because it's a trend to do that, and it's kind of the narrative. Like, oh my god, he trades support and resistance. That's the narrative, and it plays into a lot of people's hands because imagine if you've got a very kind of complex narrative of how to trade the market. Your main selling point is support resistance. Everyone trades support resistance. It's too basic. You're not going to make money. Come learn my strategy, which is complex and actually teaches you how to operate in the market. That's a big marketing point, which I see time and time again. And the thing about these patterns are there for a reason. They're not just there because someone just said, "Oh, let me just draw a random cup and a handle." There's logic behind these patterns, and these patterns that you see in textbooks have been happening in the markets for decades. A lot of people who just coming into the market the past 2, 3, 5 years, even myself, almost pretty much 8 years. These candles, these patterns have been happening well before I was born. So for someone to go and talk about patterns and say they don't work or they're rubbish, to a degree they're correct. If you use them if you don't use them correctly, they will work, of course. But to say they don't work at all is kind of just ignorant. But we'll go take a look at that gold pattern there as well. What's up, Holy One of Israel? Welcome to the stream. Congratulations on your trade. Just didn't trust it. No worries, my man. Aussie CAD, you're a CHF with massive sales holding for a couple of days. Okay, nice. I'll take a look at them as well. First, let me go take a look at pound Aussie and New Zealand CHF. If I haven't missed out a pair or haven't looked at it yet, don't be afraid to drop it down in the chat because I've probably forgotten. So yeah, with pound Aussie, I like this one to the upside. Longer term, I'm still pretty bearish on pound Aussie. I do feel like we've got a long way to go with this one to the downside. Reason being because we formed these major highs here, 1, 2, and I'm expecting a third one in this vicinity and a continuation lower. So this is where I'm thinking from a longer term point of view. Of course, I'm not looking necessarily to trade that move because that'll probably take a good year or two to play out, and I'm not going to be holding a trade for that long. But if I understand that, okay, that's potentially where price could be going in the future, as a swing trade, I'm just going to look to take those shorts and keep taking the shorts to the downside and try and take advantage of that move as much as possible. But at the moment, the market's still bullish, and we may be looking to push back into the high for another test around the 1.99599 area. So £4 Aussie, I can see that we have held this area here as a really nice break and we test on the weekly chart. And as you can see, nice bullish engulfing there. If I drop to the daily, we are coming back into another level where we could be finding support and using that to our advantage here as well. So I do think buys look good at £4 Aussie for the kind of shorter, medium term. It's not really short term because this is still a pretty big move in the market. How many pips is that? Yeah, still looking at about 400 pips, so that's definitely not short term at all. But I do expect us, find resistance at some point and sell off. So I think the buys look good for now because the market's still pretty consistent with the higher lows here. So as long as we keep that up, we probably will still keep pushing to the upside. Then maybe when we get back here, we can start discussing some sells again and probably a reversal. But for now, the high low is still looking good. Still seeing some nice momentum in these bullish moves there too. So it tells me that the buys are still very much in control. And now, we're coming back into a nice level, which is prior resistance turn support. Not a bad place for a long. Not a bad place for a long. You can find an entry in that area, stop loss below. Even targets back to this first area make a lot of sense. Can easily get nice 1 to 2 there. Maybe more depending on the entry, and then things go really well, maybe a push back to 1.99. So it's kind of what I'm looking at for £4 Aussie. And then maybe we can start discussing some sells when we get back to the high. But that's not a topic for today, at least. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for pound Aussie at the moment. In terms of New Zealand CHF, where is that? New Zealand CHF. So New Zealand CHF, we came back into a pretty big low a couple of days ago. We had a bit of a bounce from that. I think these are the all-time lows for New Zealand CHF. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. So the market's been really, really bearish long term. Maybe we're going through a bit of a bounce now. We'll have to wait and see. You said you are looking for a demand zone around 0.51484. Let me see where that is. 51484. 51484. Okay, so you're looking for price to come a lot further down. Okay, so I see it. You're talking about this area here. Around there. I mean, we're pretty far away from that. So you're probably gonna be looking at, if we were to see a big move down, probably sometime next week, you're looking at this opportunity. But it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. I would suggest. I mean, there is a big level of support here, which we may not quite reach a level if the market's going to hold that area. But if that's where your edge lies, your strategy lies, then of course wait for that area. But I do like it to the upside. It's a counter trend move. The market is definitely very bearish, but we have taken out some lows. We've had this really exaggerated pullback here with this wick here. So I'm wondering, is it time to see the next pullback for New Zealand CHF? You can see how we've been falling to the downside. Every time we do take out these major lows, the market does go through a bit of a pullback. So I'm expecting kind of another one of those in the long run. Of course, you're probably not looking to take advantage of such a move, but there is that upside potential longer term. And your targets are 526, 526, 526, back to this area here. Not a bad target indeed as well. Pretty nice move there. So I like the opportunity. Of course, I like my support resistance levels. So if I'm looking to buy, it would be here. But I think in terms of a target, it makes a lot of sense, and in the direction as well. It's counter trend, but you're buying at sensible areas where if the market is going to push to the upside, that's kind of where you expect it to happen from. So not a bad opportunity at all. Okay, go take a look at that gold pattern since 2011. I'm interested to see what's going on there. Aussie CAD, Euro CHF, you're in massive sales for those. Yeah, Euro CHF had a bit of move to the upside yesterday or the day before. CHF was pretty weak. But we'll take a look and we'll go for Aussie CAD as well. I haven't really been keeping up to date with that pair, really. Dark Sean pound CAD at resistance, looking good for a swing. If holds okay, we'll take a look at pound CAD as well. I think I know the level you're talking about. And CHF looks clean for longs. One of the things about watching the stream is that I see charts that I would never have looked at. Yeah, I mean, we do look at quite a wide range of charts here, I must say. Even charts that I don't even trade, to be fair, like the DAX, I'll look at. But yeah, it does kind of broaden the horizon a little bit. But yeah, I do feel like New Zealand CHF has a lot of room to the downside. You can see even previously when we last took out the all-time lows over here, big push up. We've done it again, big push up. Yeah, there is that upside potential there as well. So I think in the next few weeks, few months, we might be seeing price getting ready for such a move. And same thing for Aussie CHF as well, similar boat as well. It does have those big pushes up. Let me go take a look at gold. I think I know the cup and handle you're talking about, actually. Where's 2 and T11? Okay, 2011 there. So yeah, we've had the huge, and there's the handle. So you got the cup, the handle, and now the continuation. And that's really textbook, to be honest. That's really textbook. And it's funny because you're seeing it play out in such a huge time frame, like the monthly chart. Because you have to think about how many months, how many years it needs to create such a pattern. Since 2011 and till 2024, really, we're seeing this pattern really come to life. So yeah, that's the funny thing about technical analysis. Everything has its time. Everything has its moment. You don't have to be Einstein here. You just need to know when to take the correct trade, when to take the logical trade, because there'll be times where it doesn't make sense to trade the cup and handle pattern. There'll be times where it does make sense, and it's about differentiating between the two and then taking advantage of that as well, cutting your losses short and maximizing your upside. And that really is the goal of trading. But yeah, looking really, really bullish, and I'm expecting more of the same for gold, I must say. But yeah, holding up for that retracement. Silver's making a good move as well. I'll touch on silver a lot because silver did not mess around either yesterday. Really big push to the upside. And now that was looking really strongly bullish, and I'm expecting silver to be back at the highs there pretty soon. So to me, silver actually looks a bit more attractive than gold. Maybe not necessarily the setup, but in terms of the upside potential, because we haven't nowhere near back at that high yet. So I'm expecting a lot more upside there for silver soon. So we'll be keeping an eye for some buys at the moment. It's probably something like this that would interest me for a long. Come back into this area, retest that area because it's like a big double bottom here. Retest the neckline and expecting a big swing there. So we're definitely going to be keeping a close eye on silver and gold. Okay, I'll go through Aussie CAD, Euro CHF, and we'll take a look at pound CAD as well. So you said you're short on Aussie CAD. Oh, that's pound CAD. Said you're short on Aussie CAD since don't know, since hold for a couple of days. Okay. Yeah, if you've been holding for a couple of days, that means you probably entered around there, unless you're long. But yeah, Aussie CAD's been pretty bullish there. I didn't actually have a look at yesterday's candle. How's Euro CHF doing? I mean, Euro CHF's come back into some resistance there. But yeah, where did you say you're short from for Aussie CAD? Because you've been holding for a couple of days. Maybe you meant last week or something, but or maybe you meant some longs. But in terms of the price action for Aussie CAD, I don't really like it, to be honest. And that's kind of why I haven't been keeping up to date with the price action on Aussie CAD, because it's been quite choppy. And I don't really have a clear-cut bias with this one. I can make sense of the buys, I can make sense of the sells. So if one's not out and out clear to me, then I'm not going to be looking to trade it. I need to have that kind of overwhelming bias of where I expect the market to go. I could be completely wrong, but at least, there's a lot of confidences lining up that the market's likely to go higher or go lower. With Aussie CAD, it's just a bit of mixed bag here, to be honest. I can see there is a slight uptrend here, and maybe price is going to be continuing that. If that's the case, then buys make sense, but it's not really a powerful trend. It's very, very corrective. So you'll be looking for your bigger pullbacks. I think buys look good as we approach back at the low there. If we can break structure again, maybe another higher low somewhere. Didn't really retest the high there, so it hasn't been clean. So I'm not really keeping up to date with price action. Maybe when it speeds up, then I'll like it. But and even with that, the buys don't necessarily look very good in high time frames either. So we're still failing at the low highs there too. So my bias is very much up in the air with Aussie CAD. So until it cleans up, until I see some more convincing price action on the full hour, the daily in terms of direction, I think I'll stay on the sidelines and just let you trade it there, Holy One. What's up, Malik? Welcome to the stream. It has been a while. I am doing good, my man. Hope you're well. Welcome back, though. Welcome back. Hope everything is good with you. Oh, both an hour ago. Okay, I was going to say. Makes sense for Aussie CAD in terms of the area here. Back retesting some structure. So in terms of the location, it makes perfect sense. My only kind of query is how far will this go? I don't really see, clear-cut trend here. Of course, you've got your own reasons and your analysis and the reasons why you got short. I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. Holy One, I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. It's a nice level. I do think price will have a reaction, but as we approach some of these areas here, I'll be worried of what price is going to do next. Of course, I can be completely wrong as well, and price could actually melt, and this could be a phenomenal trade. But yeah, not the biggest fan of the PA. In terms of Euro Swiss, you said you got short in that 1 hour ago as well. Yeah, Euro Swiss I like. I've been chatting bad about Aussie CAD, but Euro Swiss I like the shorts because of where we come into. Back at this high here as well. If we're going to respect structure, because this was our last low, last high, last low, lower high, lower low. Come back to respect that area. If we're going to continue this structure, we're going to respect that area and continue the trend. We've got lows down here. Price could be coming back to retest. And of course, you do have that natural, high time frame bearish trend in your favor, which we've been bearish for such a long time. So looking for shorts in these conditions is not a bad idea at all. And certainly when you do approach resistance as well. So I'm liking the Euro CHF opportunity here, at least back down to some of these areas, that low there or this low or the daily, weekly low there. A few areas look good for targets. In terms of location, I like. I prefer the Euro CHF a lot more, but of course, I know you've got your own thing going on with your trades and what you're looking to do. So don't let me discourage you. I know you won't as well. But yeah, I like the Euro CHF one. Okay, we'll take a look at pound CAD. Dark Sean talking about some sells if we hold the resistance. I'll go through that. In Keva, pound NZD made a retest of the horizontal 2.135. So we are locally bearish. For sell, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll discuss pound NZD in the moment. Correct, exactly. Nice one, holy one. Best of luck with those positions, my man. Best of luck. I'll go through pound CAD and I'll take a look at pound NZD. So yeah, pound CAD is at a really big resistance, particularly the monthly weekly chart, which I have been talking about for a while now, since we got there in August. But as we can see, this is a proven area of resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4 tests minus this one here, of course, but it has been a very sturdy level in the market and definitely could be a level that could send us down. So yeah, if it does hold, very nice place for a short. As we zoom into the lower time frames, the daily chart, price is very much struggling at this level here. And of course, if you're looking to short, now's the best time. Now, this is quite an aggressive move, not necessarily because you're shorting a resistance, because the trend is very much has been to the upside. So I would be reluctant to take the sell because I know that the wind is basically pushing us high. Of course, if we're going to hold the level, we're going to turn around. But I'd rather wait for price to start showing signs that we are going to reverse, breaking structure, lower lows, lower highs, and then I'll find my trade somewhere to go down. Of course, it won't be at the best height for it, but I'm happy with that because the trade here is a bit safer. Whereas the trade here is a bit more on the risky side, but it does open you up to big risk reward. If this is the top, you could really catch the start of a new bearish trend, really. So if you're looking to sell here, it does make perfect sense, to be honest. You could wait for some rejection on the 4 hour, as we've seen previously. Over there as well. So if we were to see a nice bearish engulfing candle, that could be a nice entry signal. Entry stops above the high, and then if price is going to hold, you've got some targets there to aim for, and maybe we could be seeing a big reversal. So there is definitely a lot of sense here. Of course, I would not be looking to buy the market now. If I'm looking to buy this one, I have to see a very convincing break of this level first before I even consider that. But this is definitely a bearish territory. So shorts look good. Just need to wait for some rejection. Stops above the high, of course. And I would probably look out for this area as a target, at least the first target. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at with pound CAD. US 30, we'll take a look at, no problem. How about longs and New Zealand CHF? Okay, I'll touch on that. Right, long New Zealand CHF daily time frame trade, though kind of wide, kind of wild. Stop loss is 100 pips, so it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, as long as you just manage the risk, really. Manage the risk. Maybe if it's a pair that you don't normally trade, you can of course reduce the risk because you're not comfortable with the pair yet. But it's a good opportunity. A good opportunity is a good opportunity, no matter the pair you trade. I know that because I look at a wide range of markets and markets that I don't trade, and I can spot good opportunities there as well, simply because of my understanding of technical analysis. So yeah, if you do see opportunity, you can take the trade. Maybe reduce the risk. If it's a pair you don't normally trade. The opportunity is there, and I do agree with you as well. I think there's a lot of upside opportunity there for New Zealand CHF, purely because of where price is trading, how we're moving. It's kind of like we've repeated the same pattern for about 3 decades, really, since like 1992. This is our previous low here in 1992. Believe it or not, we pinched the low, big push up, pinch the low, big push up, pinch the low, big push up, pinch the low. You're expecting a big push up soon. If the market's going to repeat that same pattern, which it's been doing pretty flawlessly for quite some time. So the upside potential is there, the opportunity is there. Of course, anything can happen, which is why you'd use a stop loss, protect the downside. But there is a lot of room should New Zealand CHF push on. But yeah, in terms of if I'm going to get involved with this one, where I'd buy would be at this zone here, because taking this across back to this low. This has already been proven to be strong levels of support, big push up. This to me just looks like a big fake out, really, with that big wick. And our price is comfortably trading back above that area. So if we do hold this, level, that to me would be a sensible place for a buy. Stop loss below the low there, something like that. You can make it big if you want to, and then try and take advantage of a trade like that. That's kind of how I would tackle New Zealand CHF. But yeah, I do like the upside there. Okay, I'll go through pound NZD. I'm supposed to go pound NZD, then I'll take a look at US 30. So in Keba, you mentioned a trade, level around 2.135. So are we bearish? I'm not sure. So 2.135. Well, I'm just going to give you my analysis, to be fair, and then take with that information what you will. Yeah, pound NZ is a tricky one. It hasn't been really clear. I mean, I know what I'm looking to do with this long term. It's basically the same analysis with pound Aussie in terms of, okay, we've got a bearish market here. We're now back at a major high on the left here. So I do expect to see another major high being put in eventually. I do think we'll eventually get a big sell-off to the downside for pound NZD. Maybe we have one more push higher before that move comes in, but there's a very high chance that we'll see some downside and kind of continue with these lower highs here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for pound NZD as we approach this area. However, of course, if we talk about the more immediate price action, we are still pretty consistent with these higher lows. The market has still been slowly pushing up. Maybe that's the next higher low. So maybe pound NZD is going to have another test of this area first before we do get the big sell. So there might be some nice buys to take advantage of in the meantime. So kind of the same analysis as what I mentioned with pound Aussie. There might be some nice buys in the meantime before that sell. So if you're looking to buy this one, I mean, this is a nice area down here, which I mentioned around 2.09, which we just kind of missed out on. So if pound NZD was to roll back over there, I feel like this is a nice place for a long. Try and anticipate the next higher low, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. So I like that opportunity there for a buy. In terms of current price action now kind of more in bearish territory, if anything. So if you're looking to do anything with pound NZD, there might be some sells on the way back down to this level, then for some buys later on. As we approach this area here on the left, the market's had a lot of trouble trying to break through and is failing to do so pretty badly. So if you're looking for a short, first off, I'd wait for price to push back to the high first. And then this is where I'll be looking for entries. You can drop to the hourly maybe if you want to, but this is where the price keeps respecting. Then I can get stop loss above the high here and above this high there too. And then look for something like this, entry around that area, stops above there. And the entry might be a bit bigger, but that'll be up to the time frame you're using and your entry signal. Then looking for something like this. So this is bearish territory here. And again, your target doesn't have to be that level outright. You can look at this as a first target. This area here is a second target, and then this is a third target. Trade manager will be up to you. You can either trade a stop loss or take partials. Again, that's all up to you. But in terms of the bias, for me, long term it's bearish, but I can expect a lot of movement before that to happen. So we might get a sell first, then we could get a buy, and then we might get the sell, and all of that could take 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, or a couple of months, or 3 months, or till the end of the year. So a lot can happen. But for now, if you're looking for a big swing, this is the area I'll be focused on for a buy. If you're looking to short, we're in a nice area for it. Although we're just quite choppy here right now, I wouldn't be looking to take any entries here. If I'm looking for entries, it would be up at the high, save stop loss, and then we'll see what we can get. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be eyeing up for pound NZD. But effectively a similar move to pound Aussie. Reduce risk, max leverage only here. my bad, Ben. I should have known better. Okay, so I'll go through US 30 next. Good morning, Roadway from South Africa. Wicked. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. 500 pip drop. Damn, is that for pound CAD? That is not that's not a small move. 500 pips. 500 pips. So 500 will take you around here, 1.73. Again, if we're going to hold that level, that drop is pretty reasonable, to be fair. I know on the daily chart looks pretty insane, but if the market is going to hold this level on the monthly chart, then 500 pips isn't actually such a big move really from current price. 500, if I measure it from current price, it's taking you back to this kind of area, which is pretty reasonable. There's a lot of rejection around here, and that's kind of where you'll be looking for price to get to. So a drop like that is pretty reasonable. It's just up to price if we're going to hold this level or not. Which of course is exactly what you mentioned earlier. I would say though, be on the lookout for fake outs, because wicks like this could very much happen on the monthly chart. But on the daily or the weekly chart, it might look like price is breaking out. So be on the lookout for that, because the level still may hold. It just might, there might just be a big wick on the monthly or even something like that. So yeah, it's a great level. If the price is going to turn, this is kind of where you would expect it to do so. So yeah, shorts do look good from here. And I think the targets are pretty reasonable as well. Of course, you probably want to be managing the trade, along the way, just in case we do kind of go back against you. But 1.73 from a top-down perspective is pretty doable. Okay, we'll go through US30 next. OP, I'll go through my watch list as well. It's probably going to be watch list for next week, to be honest, because there is no real market which I'm looking to get involved in now, apart from managing Euro USD, for example. It's not the right word, for instance. So yeah, Euro USD is the only market I'll keep my eye on really today. Nothing else really looks like it's a setup, but I'll go through the watch list, but it's more for next week. Wow, finally back in Birmingham next Saturday, 1 week left. Damn, feels like you spent an eternity in Ethiopia. I forgot you were still there, to be honest. Birmingham? That was my Birmingham accent. Okay, so US30. Wow, that is looking really bullish. We had a nice retest of that high there yesterday, around 40K. Nice wick into it after CPI, and looks like that level has been a catalyst for push back to the high now. You can see all those wicks here we've just taken out. These are all lower highs that the market has just broken through with yesterday's candle. It looks like that momentum is just going to take us back into the high. So it's looking pretty bullish, I must say, for US30, particularly because we had the retest of that level there too. So that's added a lot more emphasis to the move here. So if you're looking at US30, I'll be looking at some pullbacks, a higher low, and trying to catch this one back to the high, because that's where I think the market's heading towards. So maybe a retest, of this area here on the lower time frames. Maybe like the hourly chart might set up pretty nicely, or even 30-minute chart. But yeah, I would be looking at US30 pushing back to 41.5, which is where I've got the high at. Yeah, US30 looks really bullish to me. I think we're seeing the same thing for, US 100, really strong reaction off that low. S&P, how we're looking, looking pretty strong there too. So it does look like S&P is going to move back to the high. US30 is going to make a move back to the high. NAS, you could probably expect that, but we've just got a long way to go. So I won't kind of say that just yet, because that's a long way to go before, we're probably more concerned about this high for now rather than this one. But they're definitely bullish. They're kind of still they're still kind of retaining their higher lows and their higher time frames. So the daily, weekly chart still consistently respecting higher lows, which is the key thing that keeps me bullish on these. You can see the higher lows still intact. S&P higher lows still intact. So the direction for me is still very much back to the highs. So if you're looking at US30, I'll be looking at pullbacks at some point. I probably won't see any opportunities today, because for us to get back down here, it might even take us the whole of New York to get there. So you're probably looking at some buys, maybe New York session Monday. But of course, we'll see how things set up there. But yeah, 41.5 is where I do see US30 pushing. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with US30. Okay, so I'll go through my watch list for OP. Malik, do you trade all the pairs in your watch list? Awesome, because I want to know them down to about 5, 6, but I'm struggling on which pairs to drop or stick to. Any advice? Good question. That's always a tricky thing to maneuver around. You know, which pair should I be trading? How many pairs should I be trading? In my situation, because that's kind of the only situation I can really talk of. Well, I trade 31 pairs. So on my kind of list of pairs I can trade, there's 31. However, each weekend I'll create a watch list of roughly about, I'd probably say there's on average 5 or 6 pairs there on the watch list, but sometimes it can be more in a very busy week, maybe closer to 10. And in a very kind of dull week, there's nothing moving. It might just be 1, 2, or 3. But on average, I probably have 5 or 6 every week, which looks good for a trade. But yeah, of course, when you see me do these streams, you know, I'm going through pretty much every pair I look at plus more. So it looks like I'm kind of all over the place. But you know, if I wasn't streaming right now, I have the pairs which I'm looking to trade. I have the pairs which I'm focusing on. And I'll go through my watch list in a moment. I know exactly what my plan is for this week and what pairs I'm trading. So in terms of a swing trader, you know, you want to be taking the best trades. And I know that if I only trade like Euro USD, I might be taking 4 or 5 trades a year. You know, potentially, and 4 or 5 trades a year is not going to cut it. So the reason why I trade a wide range is so I can have the flexibility to pick and choose which pair I want to trade based on the quality of the setup, and that I have enough setups to trade for the year. But every week I'm going to be narrowing that down to about 5 or 6, depending, you know, which pairs look good for the next following week. It depends on your situation. If you're day trading, then of course you probably don't want to look more than 5, 6, or 7 pairs really. If you're, you know, on the lower time frames, you will find enough opportunities to trade with 5, 6, 7 pairs, probably even less, to be honest. If you're scalping, even less as well. Scalping, you probably just pick 1 pair really. But if you're a swing trader, you want to give yourself the room to choose, because you don't want to have a situation where you're trying to force trades because there's nothing really going on. At least with the amount of pairs I look at, I mean, there's always a trade in the horizon, and I can always, you know, pick, okay, I'm not going to trade this pair because it looks but Euro USD looks really good, so I'm just going to focus on that one. So my advice to you would be, if you're swing, you want to kind of give yourself a big pool, but each week narrow it down to about 5 or 6. If you're day trading, you probably want to look at 5 or 6 anyway. And if you're thinking about which pairs to pick, stick with the majors and maybe give yourself 1 minor pair and maybe like a gold, just to give yourself a bit of variation. So Euro USD, Pound USD, AD USD, USD CAD, USD CHF, and then maybe gold and like Pound Yen. That could be a nice little mix there as well. And then if you're scalping, depends. Euro USD is good, gold's good. I'll probably pick either of those two really. So yeah. In terms of my watch list, so Euro USD is of course on it, but I'm currently trading it. So now this is kind of just management mode. So once we get into these areas, I'll be looking to trade a stop loss, and then I'll see how far we can take it. Hopefully we can go a lot further looking at this area and hopefully that area up there really. So that's kind of where I'm expecting the market to get to, but there's a long way to go. But yeah, I haven't trailed yet. Risk is still down there. But as we approach these areas, I'll probably start to look to trail it a little bit further, maybe to break even. Pound USD is on the watch list, but going into next week, I'll be taking off because, of course, the moves kind of already happened now. So I'm not longer interested in Pound USD. But in terms of the yen pairs, I probably will be looking to still keep an eye on Aussie yen if I can get a retest of this area, because now I'm kind of more speaking on next week. If I can get a retest of that area, that'd be great, because I'm still looking for that lower high to come into play. Euro yen, I'm not so keen on anymore because we kind of already hit that level. Pound yen, I do like. If this is going to have a bigger pullback, I'm there for it as well. We haven't come into the lows yet. So if we do push up higher, I will be looking for that bigger pullback. So keep an eye on Pound yen, Aussie yen as well. Gold, will just automatically be on the watch list there too, looking for the retest of that high of that range. So hopefully I can get the retest at some point next week, but we'll see. Silver, this one's definitely on the watch list now after that move. Lovely pullback, hopefully a lovely pullback. And then looking for the retest of that high. Entries like this, stop loss below. And then, yeah, targets more or less back at the high there at least. But I'll be looking to see if I can swing it back to 32, which is the real move I'm after. So, yeah, I'm very keen on silver for next week. Hopefully I can get the move. CAD pairs I don't really like too much, to be honest. Euro CAD, not a big fan of. Aussie CAD, not really either. Pound CAD, not really either. So I probably won't be looking at this. Again, I'll look at them in a bit more detail over the weekend. USD I still like for the sell at this area here. This is still the sell I'm after. Hopefully, you probably see that at some point next week. So back to the low there. Yeah, pound NZD not really interested now. Euro Aussie not. Euro pound looks okay, but I think I'll take off the watch this. It's just a little bit too corrective for my liking. Maybe if it pushes back to 0.85, I'll look at it. And then CHF pairs, I had pound CHF on the watch list, but not a big fan of it anymore. It's a little bit too corrective for me. And yeah, that's about it. Again, the week's not over yet, so things might move around. Pairs might be taken off. Pairs might be added to the watch list depending how we close for the week. And I'll do my analysis on Saturday, but that's roughly probably what I'll be looking at for next week, minus maybe 1 or 2 pairs. All right, no problem. We'll have a good one, my man. Have a good weekend as well. Rest up. Okay, day swing. Yeah, if your day swing, well, that's again, you'll find the feel for it. I'll say give yourself 10 pairs at least. I would say to look at. But if you can, because you kind of want to have like a sample size to use as well. So I'll say give yourself 10 to 15 pairs. There isn't necessarily no right or wrong answer, but 10 to 15 I would say is a good bet if you're looking at day trading as well. And then get a feel for it. Are you getting enough setups? If not, you might want to increase the pairs to look at. And not necessarily enough setups, enough good setups, because you probably get more than enough setups with 10 to 15 pairs. But in terms of quality setups, which you're after, maybe you might want to bump it up a little bit. And yeah, in terms of picking and choosing which ones, I would say focus on the majors, focus on the yen pairs as well. Gold is good to add, and then maybe a few of the crosses which you like trading. I would say pound Aussie is not a bad one. Pound NZD is not a bad one as well. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, pound CAD, Euro CAD, those are good to pick. Maybe not so much the CHF pairs because they can be a bit of a nuisance for quite a while. So yeah, I kind of would say that's a good place to start. Then of course you can always change and add and remove as you go along. If along New Zealand CHF, am I going to get? I don't know. Let me check. I think it might be positive swaps. It might be positive. Yeah, it's positive. It's positive. And I don't think the swaps are a lot there anyway, so it's not like you'll be balling with just swap costs. But yeah, positive swaps. And again, you tend to see that a lot when you've got markets with one particular direction. For example, if you look at New Zealand CHF, for example, this market has been selling off since the beginning of time, really. So effectively, you'd be paying money to be selling this, really. Like if you look at USD ZAR or USD peso, if you're long on this one, since the market, I didn't have a lot of data there. Let me click a different USD peso. FXCM, there we go. So if you're long peso here, you'd be paying money to hold it really because of the swap difference, the interest rate difference. But with something like this, the swaps are really, really heavy. New Zealand CHF, not really. And I think because New Zealand CHF is, I mean, some people class it as an exotic pair. It's not really. CHF is a major currency. But yeah, USD peso is definitely exotic, and the spreads and the commission, the swaps are pretty high. But this one's actually positive if you're buying. It won't be a lot though, but it'll be positive. So yeah, that's a bonus. You know, break even can end up being a small win. Yeah, exactly. You'll get positive swaps. Okay, pound yen, Rotendo. I'll take a look at that one for you as well. I think if you long any of this, well, maybe not any of the CHF pairs, but most of them I think is positive. Okay, so let me go take a look at pound yen. So pound yen, I think a few people were selling pound yen yesterday. I think yeah, a few of them should be in some nice profit now actually, because a lot, I think 2 or 3 people are looking at shorting on the retest of that low. And yeah, that retest did hold out very, very well. Nice textbook retest, as we were speaking about yesterday, with the lower lows and lower highs. You know, price has kind of just done that again very nicely there. And it looks like we're on our way. So pound yen to me, I would be expecting a push lower. I've marked out this daily level here at 179. That's kind of where I do think price will get towards. But yeah, we do have this 183 area to contend with first. We're not far away from that. Probably won't hit it in a day, but I would expect price to kind of just eventually get there. So pound yen, I would expect more downside. If you're looking for entries for pound yen, again, the boat might have sailed away here, but if we do pull back, then maybe you might find an entry. But that's a big maybe if we see that pullback. But naturally, this is kind of where you want to position yourself short, stop loss above the high, and of course, looking to take advantage of that trend. We may kind of just, you know, slowly just drift to the downside here. So yeah, you might not be finding an entry with pound yen unless you're already in the trade, of course. But if we do come up, great. That could be an opportunity to get into a position and see if you can get it back to the lows. But in terms of direction, in terms of the analysis, I would expect a lot more downside for pound yen over the next few days, really, as I expect us to eventually come there. And this to me looks like the first of many lower highs I expect. Because again, this one looks to me like a big head and shoulder pattern as well. There's your left shoulder over there. There's your head. And then there's kind of your right shoulder. And then if we can snap through that area, which I think we end up doing, yeah, I'm expecting us to trend down because you have come into a really major area for pound yen, which is, you know, just about taking out this high here. Kind of expecting us to start trending down again because if you look, we literally had this pattern exactly back in 2007. Took out the high there and a big move down. I think we'll probably end up doing the same thing again. You know, taking out the high there, big move down, taking out the high there, big move down. So, you know, history has a tendency of repeating itself. So yeah, in my book, pound yen has a lot of confluences for it to head lower, even intraday level as well. No problem. It was really helpful. Good. Happy to help. Again, any question, just feel free to drop it in the chat. Yeah, if I can answer it, I'll let you know. If I can't, I'll let you know as well. Okay, happy to help Rutendo. Okay, shorted pound yen this morning for quick profit. Nice. I mean, there's a lot of pips in pound yen, for example. I mean, this move here on the intraday level doesn't look like much, but you know, if I measure it from the top, you know, that's 180 pips there. That's a really really chunky move there. If you find yourself nice, even a 40 pip stop loss for that, you're still looking at, more than a 1 to 4. So, that's the thing about the yen pairs and why people are a little bit apprehensive of trading them, is that, they can really be rewarding, and they can really be unforgiving as well. So if you misjudge it incorrectly, and you don't manage the risk as well, it can definitely punish you as well. And if you're going with a big lot size too, it's definitely not one to mess around with. But I like the yen pairs for that same reason, because if you catch them right, it can be phenomenal trades. They tend to trend well as well. Like, for example, they don't kind of do a push and have like some crazy pullbacks and then push and then a weird pullback. They tend to be pretty smooth in terms of their pullbacks. Yes, it won't always be textbook, but they tend to kind of just give you textbook pullbacks, which give you nice opportunities on pullbacks and nice opportunities to manage your trade as well. This type of price action is a bit more kind of like your minor pairs, like your CHFs, your Aussie CADs, your pound Aussies. This is kind of how they move. So it's always a bit more difficult to catch these pairs. And you want to be a little bit more conservative on the pullbacks with those pairs. But pound yen and euro yen, not every yen pair, but pound yen, euro yen, dollar yen, CAD yen, even really nice pairs to trade when they get going, as they have been here. And not even just then. If you look at previous trends, back down there as well, back over here, up there as well, really clean trends to look at. And you go look at like UNZD, for example, hectic stuff there, hectic stuff. Yeah, all the yen pairs falling pretty well. But I think Swiss yen is the one that surprises me the most, and that looks good long term. I feel like we've put that high in at 180. I'm looking at the previous all-time high back here at 158. No, 159. I think the market has put its next high in. So now I'm looking for something like this. As long as we don't break past this high here, I'm now short bias with Swiss yen. I will wait for this candle to close and this weekly candle to close, just to get that solid confirmation that momentum sustained. But if it does close any similar situation to how we're looking now, I'm just going to be looking to sell this guy for the next few weeks. Aussie CAD Raheel. Okay, I'll take a look. Ben, one thing I found about FTSE DAX. Okay, more correlated during the stock market. That would make sense, to be fair. That would make sense. So they create a bearish setup in the morning, and then when the US stocks open, we just move up as well, or previous price action becomes much less significant. Yeah, I mean, things like that can be really, really beneficial in trading. And that's kind of one thing I've looked at and understood. If you kind of read stories about some really historic traders and some really big traders making really big money and having really insane edge. A lot of the really big traders, they talk about stuff like that, little things that they notice, and then they really take advantage of it. Like something like, okay, I tend to see this market do this when this market does that at a specific time for a specific reason. And they just kind of really milk it for all it has, really. And they do it with size as well. So that's one thing I've noticed. But I've also noticed that it doesn't happen all the time. Like, for example, the FTSE DAX, it might have a really nice relationship with US indices, maybe for like 6 months or a year or 2 years. And then maybe it might go through a different cycle where it's barely correlated, or to a degree, or it doesn't work as well. So they kind of make all their money whilst it's working, and until it doesn't really. But it's things like that you pick up as a trader. that can only be gained by experience, and experience, with the same thing, again and again and again. And that's really kind of what separates a lot of, um, between the people starting out and the people who experience, is that because it's not like, support and resistance is crazy, to learn. It's very, very kind of, and elementary stuff, but the application of it and the and the method of using it, you know, is where kind of the edge lies. And same with everything else as well. Crazy correlations. I've heard Dante say he used to work with someone who made a killing of the correlation between FTSE and UK bonds. Yeah, there's something like that. Excuse me. It's like little things like that. Excuse me. It's like little things like that which people really just take advantage of whilst it's happening. Won't last forever, because of course, if it lasts forever, then everyone's going to start doing it. But it will last for, it could even be like a couple of months, but it might be a couple of months, it might be 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever. But you notice something that will tend to happen, and then you just kind of milk it for all it's worth. And until it stops happening, then you kind of pivot or use something else. You pick up something else along the way. In terms of the entry and the technical analysis, everything is very much the same. Using double tops, candlestick patterns, support, resistance, trend lines, moving averages, whatever you're looking at, supply and demand. You're using all these things that have been discussed for decades previously, but those little things you pick up as you go along, and then you really take advantage of. And that's kind of one of the biggest takeaways that I've seen from some of the big traders, which I think is quite interesting, to be fair, because it's not always just a good understanding of technical analysis, which will make you very, very good at the craft. There's other things as well, which is why I'm going to start looking to incorporate more fundamentals as well. But that will take time. Fundamentals is it's not always black and white fundamentals, as with technical analysis as well. Ben placed an order on using CGI. Okay, you're getting involved. 0.5235 entry in the stop loss 0.513. What we thinking? Okay, let's have a quick look. See. So let me remove this out the way. 0.5235, 0.5235. Let me get the okay, that's around here-ish. And the stop loss 0.513. 513 down there. Looking good. I mean, again, effectively for me, this is the turning point in the market. This 0.5519. This is the turning point. So if the market breaks through that and we see a really strong close below, then I'm like, okay, maybe New Zealand CGF is going to have another swing to the low and it's going to make a new low before it does push up. As long as we stay above that, then yeah, I retain that bullish bias, and I'll be looking at a big push. I think we can probably make it back to this kind of general area of support resistance. It's probably not like a really specific point, but generally where price is kind of bouncing here, holding as resistance there, support there. That's kind of where I expect price to get to, and that's probably where you start to you might see some downside. We could probably go a lot further than that as well. So if you're going to have one of those big pullbacks, there's a lot of room to the upside, but at least back to this area here before you make some noise. Makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, I like the position. I think again, when I'm always judging positions, when people share their trades with me, I'm very rarely looking looking to critique the entry, because it's really the stop loss that has the most important thing. Because of course, your stop loss is here. The dreams entry would be at the level, or as close to your stop loss as possible to maximize the risk reward. But whether your entry's up here or your entry's down there, the only kind of difference it makes is the risk reward. But the key thing is that where you're going to exit, where the trade has failed. If you're going to put your stop loss here, then it doesn't really make any sense. Doesn't matter where your entry is. If your stop loss is here, it doesn't make much sense. If your stop loss is down there, you're giving yourself a lot of breathing room, and you're below a really significant level in the market. So the entry is not as important. Of course, you would like it to be as low as possible, but the lower it is, it's just more of a bonus. More money when the trade plays out. So I'm more focused on the stop loss placement and the targets as well, if you have a target in mind, because that's where you're looking to start to exit the trade. The entry isn't the most important bit. Entries, it just affects the risk reward really. But if you're going to have your stop loss in silly places, you're going to get silly results. So yeah, I like the trade. I think the stop loss makes a lot of sense, and yeah, I'll be looking for a similar move as well. I think Aussie CHF's in a similar situation too. Massive low down there, nice test there. Again, expecting a push up, stop loss underneath here. Looking for push back into the highs there, maybe even that as well. So yeah, really do like it. How is your USD doing, by the way? Okay, we're still holding up. Nothing crazy. I don't think we have any big news today. Let me just go check that quickly. Friday. Okay, we've got Michigan consumer sentiment at 3 o'clock. Not expecting anything crazy there, but I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, really, for USD and everything else, really, until next week. We've got Bank of England interest rate. That should be interesting. But yeah, Michigan consumer sentiment, not expecting much there. So I'm just going to see how this boy gets going. It looks good so far. Pound USD, nice move there too. Again, the main thing is the DXY. If this one keeps selling off back to the low, we'll probably see Euro keep pushing, Pound keep pushing as well. So that's where my focus lies. Heard someone say RR always matters if you win. Kind of a good point, within reason, though can't completely destroy RR. Of course, RR matters. But if you're going to take silly trades, for example, if I just take a trade like this, and then I put my stop loss here, and then my RR is like 23, of course, that's phenomenal risk reward. But if I'm taking, silly trades with silly stop losses, then my RR doesn't really matter, because I probably will get this trade here one in every 200 trades I take, maybe, and that's if I'm lucky. So I fully agree, risk reward is important. You want to be making more when you win than when you lose, but you don't need to have 10 RR for it to be good RR. I think, in my opinion, any RR that's more than kind of more than when you lose. If you're going to lose $100 and you're making 150 when you win, I think that's good risk reward. 200, 300, that's great. 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. I think that's all really good. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Of course, if you can get bigger risk rewards and you can maximize it, that's a bonus. But anything just around that ballpark is healthy. But yeah, if you can take trades like this, then there's no point of having a good risk reward, because the trade idea is very flawed. So risk reward is important, 100%. Entry is important, stop loss is important. They're all important, but I would say people focus too much on entry, and they neglect the other areas. He was saying as long as you're 1.7 risk reward, he would just get into the trade. Okay, Yeah, that's a healthy amount there. 1.7, not looking for anything crazy. Again, the idea is that when you win more than when you lose. And effectively, that means that, if you win as many as you lost, you're still retaining profit there. That's the most important thing. The para intraday previous low really improved since the start. Oh, great to hear, my man. Great to hear. I'm happy for you. Which market trading? Okay, Euro yen. Okay, that reminds me, I forgot to go through Aussie CAD, didn't I? I'll take a look at Aussie CAD as well, and we'll go through Euro yen as well. But good to see your take profit hit there. Congratulations on the position. Great way to end the week. All right, no problem. Holly, want to take care, my man. Both trades have dropped. Nice for now. Nice. Hopefully they can keep going. I think anything above 1.5 is good. So I've taken 1.2, 1.3 when it looks high probability, but it's not ideal. Yeah, I would agree that, of course, because you do have to factor in, especially if you're swing trading, swap, commissions, so there will be extra costs, not just the loss as well. So effectively 1.5 would be good to cover some of that as well. But yeah, and if you can average around one to two, you're in a great position, really. Every time you lose 100, you make 200. You do the maths. That's a great place to be. And of course, if you can maximize it even more, which is the goal of us traders, how can we maximize our wins, minimize our losses? If you can do that even more, then that's great. But you see a lot of people trying to hit the 1 to 10s, 1 to 30s, which of course on paper they sound great, but it's not reasonable. And maybe you can find a way to make it reasonable, but there has to be a lot of work into that. It's not something just you should do spontaneously. Anyway, let me go through Aussie CAD because I said I'll go through that one first, and then we'll take a look at Euro yen as well. Oh, okay, Aussie CAD is reacting to that level pretty nicely. That is doing a pretty good job there. So yeah, as I said earlier, not the biggest fan of Aussie CAD in terms of the high time frames, at least. I think, of course, in terms of shorting from that level, it's a really nice steady level of support, which is flipped as resistance. So in terms of the area, it does make a lot of sense there. But in terms of the high time frames, I can't really wrap my head around what price is trying to do. So with Aussie CAD, I'm staying nimble. I'm staying neutral, and just waiting for more price action before I come off a bias with this one. Because at the same time I can see price kind of spilling over to the downside. At the same time I can see price retaining that bullish bias. So I need a bit more price action before I judge Aussie CAD. But in terms of the area, it makes a lot of sense. If you're looking to short, this is a good place for it. But as I mentioned earlier, I'll start to watch out as we come into some of these areas, because this is where buyers will be lurking, to see if they can take price back up again. So maybe some partials there, or maybe just a trail stop loss could make a lot of sense. Maybe that low could be a nice target there too, but I'll start watching the trade around 0.908. But yeah, in terms of the level, it looks really good. Price is reacting really well, but high time frames, I'm lost, I must admit. I don't know what price is doing. Euro yen, Lepara, you said you had a nice little break and retest somewhere, and price hit your take profit. I assume it's probably shorts because, yeah, price has been pretty bearish. Okay, I see that. Nice little break and retest there. Nice continuation. So this is textbook stuff here from Euro yen. You're not going to see this these type of price action every day, but when it's there, you want to be there to take advantage of it. But you can see the lower highs building up. Clear support. Price broke through that. Retest there, and of course, Bob's your uncle. Nice little move there to the downside. I'm pretty sure a lot of the yen pairs did something similar. Pound yen retest there. CAD yen, maybe not so much with that one. Dollar yen, that will come up to the top of the channel there. Not really a retest, but at least euro and pounds, really nice retest there and a push down. So yeah, congrats on that trade. I think in terms of the position, it made a lot of sense. Now coming back into some lows, let's see if Euro yen can break through or maybe bounce. If it breaks through, that's really big. And then I'm looking at this. but we'll see. Still got a long way to go before that happens. Where was I? And the higher time frames like you do, win or loss, this entity chapter is clean. And never look at this chart. Might be a handful, try the low time frames and then look at the rest. Higher time frames under 4 hours, something kind of scrambles your brain though, looking at too much. Yeah, I feel like just keeping things in an organized manner, systematic manner, you can definitely do it. Because I know people who day trade and they swing trade as well, but there's a whole kind of plan with it too. So it's not like spontaneous. But I would say the thing about looking at high time frames, the best thing about it is that you can do all your analysis on the weekend when the charts are closed. So you're not day trading. So you're not kind of thinking about, let me manage this trade here, let me manage this trade here. You know, your trades are closed, or if you are holding to the next week, there's nothing for you to do anyway because the markets are closed. So if you want to add some longer term moves to your trading, which I do think is a good thing to do because it's a nice hedge for your day trading, you know, swing trading, looking for longer term moves. I think it's a nice hedge to add. Do your analysis on the weekend. That way you're kind of keeping them separate. So day trading during the week, swing trading analysis anyway during the weekend. Then when it comes to the week, then you can just, you know, plot your levels, which you would have done in the weekend, and then put alerts there or whatever, and then take your buys, take your sells. And if you're trading on the 4 hour or the daily, you know, you probably won't have to look at your trades much, just kind of maybe 2 or 3 times a day max, if that, probably even less, to be fair, depending on your targets. If it's as big as the New Zealand CHF target, then you probably need to check it once a day, maybe once every couple of days, really. So yeah, I would suggest keep it separate because you don't want to get muddled up. Because I've done that before, trying to day trade and swing trade. It does get a bit confusing. And maybe if you're doing it on a personal account, open up a second account, which will be a swing account as well. So that way you can kind of keep the trades and the analysis really separate as well. Even if it's just like a small account you have on the side, you know, I think it's good practice. So just keep everything different. Maybe might be a bit of a hassle to have 2 accounts to juggle, but I think it might help. But yeah, analysis on the weekend, game changer. Yeah, exactly. Markups on the weekend, set alerts, keep it separate. Because the charts are closed, so you're not stressed about anything. You're not trying to take any trades or worrying about something moving. Everything is closed, of course, apart from crypto as well. If you're trading crypto, but in terms of FX, gold, you know, that's all closed for you. So nothing to worry about. And then you can do your analysis calmly. You know, nothing's bothering you, and then you're ready for the week ahead. You know exactly what you're looking for. All the hard work is done. During the week, you're just kind of staying up to date with price and taking some entries, closing some trades, all of that jazz. FTSE gets an hourly close, but down about 8265. I'm cutting the trade. This is brutal. Okay, we'll take a look at FTSE. Every move down is getting faded these days. Not ideal when you're short. Yeah, I think that's the reality. Of course, trading indices. Shorts are always going to be a bit more difficult. Shorts are always going to be a bit more difficult. You know, just on average, really, aren't they? But when you catch them, it's very beneficial. Okay, so we did have a nice reaction at that low, but it doesn't look like we've gone too far. Yeah, we had a nice reaction, but price is already finding support. Yeah, I mean that's FTSE for you, isn't it? It's a bit more choppy than the others. Maybe this was like S&P would have seen a move down first, and maybe price would have reacted bullish. But I still like the idea to an extent because we're still holding that area. Maybe we do revisit it and retest it again, which might be a bit annoying. But effectively, as long as we stay below, I would still expect to see a move down. I mean, it's not great down here, but of course, you can make that decision yourself. But the key thing for me is that we're still holding to resistance. If we break through that, then yeah, I rest my case. Maybe price is just going to push back up again, back to the high. But I do like that level. But yeah, if it doesn't hold, yeah, that's probably going to push back to 84.50 at that point. Then, yeah, I mean, it's not a great pair, is it? It's not a great pair. The only thing I like it is that we respect this level numerous times. So there's a good chance that we do see some reactions there. But it's been a tricky ride here. Yeah, long term, this is still a very bullish market. So I think at some point we will be back at the high. Yeah, I really do like that wick there. So at some point we will be back at the high. Will it be in the next couple of weeks? Could be. I feel like if the next couple of weeks we see these indices, especially the US indices, just keep pushing up, I think the FTSE will probably just follow suit as well. As you said as well, they do tend to follow each other. So I feel like if the US 30 just pushes up, S&P pushes up, NAS pushes up, then yeah, we'll probably see the FTSE push up as well. But then again, there might be some nice buys to take advantage of. Although I'm not too sure where. If I'm looking to buy the FTSE, it probably would be at this low here. Get a nice stop loss below that area. Then trying to catch the swing. That would be my plan. I'm not too sure about a breaking retest here. It just becomes a little bit too choppy, too niche for me. Something like that could be a nice little buy. And the risk reward looks pretty good too. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for FTSE. I must say though, these US indices are having a lot of fun right now, looking really bullish. But yeah, it's an insane move on gold. Because I didn't look at gold, to be honest, until this morning. So I only woke up and saw how gold broke up. I know gold was pushing up during the news yesterday, but I didn't see if it broke out or not. And I woke up and I just saw that massive breakout. I was like, wow, that is beautiful stuff. And silver too surprised me there. But I like it because it kind of we're seeing those type of pairs push to the upside. So indices are looking bullish. You got the major pairs are looking bullish. So euro, pound, Aussie to an extent. Then you got gold and silver looking bullish. You got your metals, commodities. How's oil doing? Oil's somewhat bullish there as well. I think Bitcoin is a little bit bullish too. Not convinced how far it might go, but it's looking somewhat bullish. So we're seeing tides turn, and that means USD could be inviting a lot more weakness. Like I've been saying, I've been looking for push into that low. I think we've got a good chance of seeing that happen, at least a push back into this area. And then maybe we bounce again, maybe we get the breakout. But yeah, I do expect us to make a move down there. USD, Antonio, we'll take a look at, no problem. Yeah, exactly. Gold's going to break out short for so long. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the rule of thumb. The longer, the bigger the consolidation, the bigger the breakout. That's always kind of the rule of thumb. And yeah, gold literally just illustrates that so perfectly. Really nice prolonged breakout, and now we're seeing some heavy momentum afterwards. And yeah, sometimes you see a big breakout and price doesn't get the retest, and sometimes it does, and maybe that's the situation that's happening right now. Here we had a nice break and a nice retest as well. We'll see if we can get one there too. In terms of Euro NZD, I'm looking at some shorts for this one at that low there. I've been looking at this opportunity for the past couple of weeks now, at least, probably more than that actually. And looks like we're just slowly grinding this move higher. But these Euro NZD, Pound NZD, Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie pairs, I do feel like they're going to push up soon. And hopefully, if I can get some rejection here, I can take some shorts. And then the plan is to see if I can swing it back to the low here. If I expand to the daily chart, you can see where we're trading here. If this level is going to hold, there's a lot of room for us to run into. So this is why I like USD, because if I catch it, I can catch it really right. And, and it also tends to move quite well to the downside there too. You can see pretty kind of strong moves down. So that means hopefully I can get a nice trail and hopefully, take it right down to that low, and the risk reward could be pretty big on that position there. So I like it for that reason as well. But in terms of the level, it looks really good. That was a big kind of head and shoulder pattern which formed a couple months ago. We can all see it there in its glory. And now I'm just looking for the retest of that neckline there. So yeah, that's probably a trade for next week, and I'll see what type of price action we get, how we react. If things look good, whack a position on and see how far we can take it. CAD CHF demand zone 0.62. Okay, looking for some longs on CAD Swiss as well. CAD Swiss has been pretty bearish after respecting that high there. I mean, that low, sorry. Again, CAD CHF is another one of those currency pairs, of the Swiss pairs, that has that potential to see a lot of upside, because again, it's kind of moving in a similar fashion. And now that we've made another low, that bigger retracement is upon us. Of course, the exact point is difficult to say, because if CAD CHF wants to, it can trend for a little bit longer before we see that move, or it could do it now. I think at the moment, because price is still doing a pretty good job at respecting this low here, holding a resistance, I think shorts still look good for now. If you're looking to buy, I don't really have a solid area. Of course, I know you look at your demand zones, which maybe it's this one you're talking about. Let me see, 0.62. Okay, no, I think you're talking about this one here, maybe. So yeah, I do like it. The upside potential is there. I think New Zealand CHF looks a lot more clearer. Aussie CHF too. I just don't like how price respected the high there for CAD CHF. But again, if New Zealand CHF is going to make a big move up, CAD and other CHF pairs too, of course, CAD will follow suit. Yeah, I don't mind this one. But I must say I prefer New Zealand CHF a lot more. Aussie CHF too, just because of the areas they've come into a bit more significant. But of course, if it fits the plan, you go for it. If you have a sensible stop loss, underneath this low, I would presume, or that low there, if you're looking at that area, I feel like these are sensible places. If the market is going to turn, these are logical places where we could turn from. But I do like the NZD position that you said before. But then again, looking at that NZD position as well, I feel like it is quite far away. Whereas CAD, you probably likely get an entry. But all I can say is that as long as the position is according to your plan, it fits the plan well, take the position. I think it makes sense there. We have rejected resistance pretty well, so watch out for that. I think as we approach back at this high again, that could be a logical place to take some profit. So I'd watch out for that, but there is a lot of upside potential for CAD Swiss. Richard trades. Okay, I'll take a look at pound USD for you. All right, no problem, Ben. Have a good one, my man. Catch you next week as well. Have a good weekend. Okay, so I'll go through pound USD for my analysis there. So pound USD, very bullish on this one, at least for now anyway. Until we reach the high again, then we can reassess things. But as we can see, zooming up to the higher time frames, pound USD has been a really nice uptrend as we've been pushing up. So I'm basically looking at that to continue as long as we maintain these higher lows. And as you can see, price has been doing that pretty well. And it looks like we're just printing another one there too. So for me, for pound USD, I'm looking for another swing back to the high. And it looks like we've had a nice retest off that low there. Nice bullish engulfing yesterday too. So I think in terms of an entry for pound, this could be a nice little area to look at. You've got some nice support there. Was acting as resistance for a while. This could be a nice place to look for some entries for a buy. And targets, this is not a bad place for a target there. Coming back into that area. And of course, you've got the swing high there as well if you want to push the trade a little bit further. But for me, this makes a lot of sense there for pounds, at least intraday level anyway. Stop loss below the area there. And then, the sky's your limit. Maybe you might come back down and have a double bottom. So there is that possibility there. If you're looking for a bit more of a swing position, you might want to wait to see if you can get a double bottom down here. But that is essentially what I'll be expecting for pound USD. And back to the high. So the bias is bullish. I'm really bearish on USD. Yeah, I'm looking for us to come back into the low here. And then I'm expecting us to break it, but maybe we might bounce first. But for now, that's what I'll be eyeing up for pound. All right, no problem, Alec. Have a good one, man. We'll catch you next week. OP, missed most of your videos this week. No problem, my man. Again, all the streams are, uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you do miss them, you can go through them. Although maybe sitting through 2 hours of me speaking might be a bit on the long side of things. But yeah, if you can make it live, that's always great as well. Very nice. I'm bullish pound USD as well, so good to hear. Cool. Using me as a confluence there, are you? I appreciate it, Malik. That's a beautiful little comment there. Make sure I push that forward. If you guys have enjoyed the analysis, make sure you do leave a like as well. And of course, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so too. But yeah, guys, leaving a like, subscribing to the channel does really help out the channel. So I do appreciate everyone who has liked or subscribed. It does really help out the channel. And of course, whilst you're at it, make sure you do hit the bell as well, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. So you are notified as well. I appreciate that message, Malik. Oh yeah, it's Friday the 13th. Would you look at that? I had no idea. Happy Friday the 13th to you too, Karis. Maybe it's not a good day to trade then. Maybe it's not a good day to trade. Did not think of that. Yes or no, you just stumbled across your live. So it's interesting to hear what traders have to say. Okay. Yeah, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking at the same chart here. So yeah, if you're using similar technical tools to me, you will probably have naturally a similar bias as well. And if you're trend following as well, which is I am, I'm typically looking to follow trends as well. Although I will have my counter trend moments, but most of my trades are pro trend as well. And pound USD has been trending pretty well to the upside there too. So yeah, I like this one to the upside, but Euro looked the better one. So that's the one I'm trading at the moment. I won't be looking to take any entries with Euro with pound until I can get Euro to break even. Because as we all know, effectively, if we're buying Euro or buying Euro USD, we're sort of buying pound USD as well to an extent, because they both make the move together really, as we've just seen. So I'll be managing this position. I won't be looking to remove risk until I can get it at least to this area here. So I want to give it the space it needs to fluctuate. So if I'm looking for swings, you will see kind of pullbacks and unexpected moves. It's not just going to be one straight line. It would be nice if it was that, but it's going to take its time to get going. So I'm giving it room to breathe. And when we get to this area here, that is a legitimate area where price might sell off from if my bias is incorrect. So I kind of do want to protect myself from that area to an extent. But yeah, I'm gonna give it room to breathe and see if we can get it back to this high as well, because the analysis for Euro is pretty much the same as well. We've been forming these higher highs and higher lows. So I'm looking to try and catch the next high low, which for me is looking like it's around here. If not, I do have some levels which I've drawn here, which I'll be happy to long from. So if I do get stopped out of this position, I will look for some re-entries down here as well, around the 1.095, 1.09 area, to try and take it back to the high at 1.125. That is my ultimate target there for euro. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be holding this over the weekend. Presumably, I don't think it will hit my targets or stop me out before the end of the day. So most likely we'll be holding this over the weekend as well. But yeah, I do have those areas which I'll keep an eye on, of course. But for now, I'll be looking to manage that position. Okay, I'll take a look at gold. It's been good so far. It has, Karis. But let's not jinx ourselves now. Let's not jinx ourselves. Touch wood. Yeah, either one when I trade Euro G. Yeah, exactly. Let me have a look at gold quickly. Yeah, gold, the analysis is pretty straightforward. There's not much to say with gold because we consolidated, now we've broken up, now at all-time highs. There's nothing really to say here with gold apart from gold is still looking pretty bullish. If you look at the higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, we're seeing bullish price action there, higher highs and higher lows. So in terms of trend following, we're looking for buys predominantly. I can understand people trying to look to fade this move now because we've had a big push. So you're expecting a pullback. Never really a trade I'll take, especially in these conditions. Gold's making high after high after high. Taking shorts is always going to be a bit difficult. So for me, I'm just going to wait for a pullback and opportunities to buy. This level has been tested 7 times the resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a really good chance it does hold its support. Of course, I will be waiting for my confirmations, but the idea is looking for the retest for the buy. Anything else I'm not really interested in because there's not much to do. There's no other price action to reference here. This is all we've got to work with really with gold. And I've marked out 2600 as the next big psychological level. We've just broken through 2500, which is down here roughly. So the next one I'll be looking at is 2600. So yeah, that's kind of where I would expect the market to make its move to next. But yeah, I need that pullback. And same thing with silver as well. Need that pullback before I can find some entries. But I am looking to take both of them higher. And if USD keeps falling, hopefully that will help out that idea. But yeah, I'll be managing this trade over the weekend and for the rest of the day. I don't think there's anything else that is likely. The closest pair that is likely to give me a trade is USD, and this is still pretty far away. So I highly doubt I'll be getting into another position today. If I do, though, I'll let you guys know in the Telegram, but probably not. Yeah, as we do approach the end of the stream, guys, I do hope that you do drop a like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, of course. If you didn't, just dislike. I'm joking. Don't dislike. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, guys, please do like the stream and subscribe as well. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you join the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Links to that at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. But yeah, guys, have a great Friday the 13th, as Karis mentioned. And have a good weekend as well. Of course, I'll be posting my analysis during the weekend, so do look out for that. I'll be speaking about pairs, about quite a few pairs which moved this week. And of course, I'll be giving you my ideas of what I'm looking at for next week as well. But guys, have a great day, great weekend, and I'll catch you all in the new week.